Stuck in the whole starting phase. I want to see exactly when it actually would start. Bloody hell.
Trying to find all the things. Here we go.
Alright, I believe we're live now.
Check.
Analyze.
Alright, so who said that don't make me con this stuff? Anyway, who cares? Good evening or good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Turkey Day to everybody out there in the USA. And for those who do celebrate it, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. You know who the hell I am. USA! USA! Whatever. Anyway. I'm joined here by Darth Proteus, Psy Extraordinaire. Want to say hello?
Hello.
Yeah, that too. I was expecting the Mickey Mouse voice, but I guess we'll take that.
Oh boy.
You see? And the man who actually eats people's brains in space, Astro Zombie. Although lately he's just been kind of ground pounding it as well.
In his tutu.
In his tutu. Pink tutu. As soon as he wakes up,
I think we lost Astro.
Yeah, that or he's probably, typing up something over in the STO Facebook group or something like that. Any case, this would be a continuation of the last conversation / barf tired retort that I had about people's feedback of what Reddit STO builds did. And then we'll be expanding that to the gaming community as a whole within the last couple of years. Meanwhile, we'll be playing different games in here. Most likely STO and go blow up a couple of things here.
Hopefully nobody noticed that my internet went out during that whole thing.
Oh, no! That's why you didn't answer when we asked something for you.
Yeah. Sorry, I had interstate problems.
Right.
You actually stayed in Discord. That was the funny part.
That was the funny part.
Well, no, it does that to me all the time. It'll keep me in there as if I'm in there, but I can't hear you guys. Nothing.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So, lead us off there, homie.
First off, we're going to be popping a cold one. Soda, actually.
Soda?
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Odin has resorted to drinking. This is how bad this topic has driven him nuts.
It's a good topic. Stop it.
Stop it. It's a really good topic.
Wow. Wow. That's all I gotta say is wow.
We're all friends here. Just.
I'm in the wrong room. Somebody call me an adult.
That's never happened in the history of happenings.
Yes, we know that. Anyway, alright, so, for those who are catching up, watch the previous video, the links in there will bring you over to Reddit. Long story short, the Reddit STO mods decided to temporarily made the STO builds page private as a sign of protest against Cryptic Studios for not taking a lot of the major bug reports and seriously, as well as pretty much their system for bug reporting isn't up to industry standards, which is another thing here. Industry standards are low. But with that said, bug reporting is either not being utilized at all or improperly utilized. There's no priority system as far as which bugs are going to get fixed. This is more or less and this is from the outside looking in. And yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Isn't that what the bug bashers were for? Or
which
is that still a thing? Or
only in title.
I was gonna say because I know people throw that title around quite a bit, but
right. But not to say anything negative about the bug bashers here, because the initiative was good. Some of the people that were selected to have a decent ability to write a report on it, but as far as full-on investigation and analytics of how the bug is manifested, how it interacts with the game, how to be able to reverse engineer some of the systems to figure out how deep this bug can go. Some of them didn't have that ability.
It's funny you say that, because there was an episode today that took place that keys in on that very subject of being able to troubleshoot and observe and figure out what's taking place. And I'll go into that a little later.
All right, then. So we'll have that to bring up. But in general, what I see here, and I've been seeing for the last couple of years, is different gaming studios, in the name of profit, have decided to short cycle their development time and their quality assurance time to push out a product to meet a deadline, and then do whatever little fixes, if necessary, after the fact, after it's been released or after it's sold. There have been multiple articles on what has happened in the past couple of years, including one game for, I believe it was a PlayStation, where they literally released part of the game on the CD that you paid full price for, and you had to wait to download the rest of the content that was still buggy, and then wait days later for a patch to allow you to play it.
Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah,
silly.
but that's more of a deadline thing, I would think. I don't think it's necessarily people that were working on it. It's probably stockholders and stuff like that.
No, it's the corporate machine
Yeah.
that pushes and drives that kind of stuff, and it's upsetting and annoying at the same time as a gamer, because not only do we have to deal with it, we get shrugged off and told, well, this is what we have to do, these are our priorities, we didn't have time according to our deadline. And that in itself should never be the case, ever.
Well, see, you sit there and call me cheap and stuff like that. Dude, that's why I don't invest in new games. I wait until they get pushed out from 6 months, 8 months to a year before I even think about it.
Oh yeah, and I agree with you on a lot of that. But see, on my side of it, I fell in love with, gaming and coding and stuff like that back in the old days when I used to run an Ultima Online free server. And I did that for a couple of years, and I literally learned from the ground up about the testing process, what your deadline should be, what's prioritized, and stuff like that. And I see a lot of these game companies nowadays that are pushing content, pushing cash cows, pushing crap, and then worrying about the consequences after the fact, when a lot of these things that they're pushing are literally game-breaking bugs that should have never have gone live. They should have never have been approved, ever. And it's just, it's annoying. It really is annoying to watch this happen on a day-to-day basis, and it's spreading throughout the entire gaming development.
And furthermore, people are being told, well, this is the way it is, you'll get your content eventually, but pay us now, or just deal with it now, and eventually, whenever that eventually comes, you might get something. And people are living with it. They're literally sitting there taking it.
I'm not going to name any names, but I literally had a conversation with a dev, with Cryptic, in-game, in the chat channel, in-game. I'm not going to mention which chat channel because it's too easy to look it up. But I asked a serious question. I asked, is the bug reporting system on Tribble working, or is it broken? Because it seems like a lot of the bugs that I've personally reported, and know many others have reported, made it to live anyway. Months of preparation they could have had to deal with this bug, because we reported it that early. And case in point, the exchange bug that happened recently. That bug literally cost people billions in in-game resources because of weirdos and trolls who took advantage of this bug and decided they were going to make billions in EC by selling stuff that shouldn't have been sold. And the response I got from this dev was, well, we have to prioritize and we push it live anyway because there wasn't time to fix it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That was a game-breaking bug, something that really affected the economy and people's real-life money that they lost on this stuff. I don't find that acceptable at all. And it made me laugh. I was like, are you kidding?
So, in this type of situation here that we're dealing with, what does a player do, whether it's as an individual, a group of players, or even the entire gaming community? What recourse do players have other than saying we're going to vote with our wallet? What can we do to say, hey, look, this needs to be fixed. This type of mindset and this type of culture cannot continue.
Well, I mean, are you going off about the SEO builds at Reddit?
Well, I mean, that's something that's already happened, but I'm just the question is open-ended for a reason.
Well,
so answer how you feel.
Well, dude, how they handled it, it would have been something if the mods at our stove builds, you know, were communicating it like way beforehand, kind of let people know this is what's going to happen, this is what we're doing. Nah, that's not what they did. They locked up shop and they took their toys and they went home. I don't agree with how they did it and why they did it. I mean, I understand there are broken things aren't getting fixed, etc., but that was a community-based Reddit. A lot of people depended on that for multiple things, entertainment, etc., but it was information exchange, and they shut the information down, and that's never good. Anytime you take out freedom of speech or exchange of ideas, so on and so forth, it's never a good idea. And it made a lot of people angry. So angry to where it came to my attention. And I'm not a big reader, so
I actually looked at Reddit, and when they reopened it, there was a lot, I mean a lot of angry people. And these weren't the mods, these weren't the developers, these were the players. Mm-hmm. The players were, extremely angry to the point where they literally started another Reddit for that community. And it's actually starting to gain popularity. But it wasn't so much the fact that they were protesting. Nobody was mad about the protest. It was the way they did it. Because they basically held the community's information hostage for that entire time. Yeah. And it was decided among a few mods collectively to do this rather than putting it forth to the community and say, hey, this is our plan, this is what we'd like to do we have the community support? Now, that being said, I personally would not have voted to close down the Stowe builds. There are other ways that you can make games actually listen and show them you're serious. One way was back in the old days we had Star Wars Galaxies, where people would organize sit-ins, where everybody would go to one spot in the game and literally just mob the whole game. Cause so much lag on that server, it made the developers wake up. Mm-hmm. The second way they could do it is organize a logout. We did that in Ultima Online way back in the early days of Ultima Online, where we got thousands of players to log off the game and stop playing for 3-4 days. And guess what? The metrics got hit and the developers took notice. You have to do things that are community oriented without hurting the community in order to make people understand what you're protesting for. And I agree with what they're protesting for because things need to change. But the way they did it was it was crappy.
Well, even the message that they put out, it was, my God, it was childish. Absolutely childish.
I will agree with
I wish I had it in front of me right now. I'm trying to look for it. I can't find it at the moment. So
I will say that the message was not clear. I said it before. I had to read it twice before I got it. But when I did get it, I read between the lines because we had tried to do something like that beforehand on the show where we were like, hey, let's get a bunch of people together in the community and say, look, we need to be able to put up a front to Cryptic and say, look, we're willing to work with you here. Let's try and get something accomplished. And unfortunately, time and time again, the only way to be able to move a mass amount of people is to get them uncomfortable with the situation. And whether we like it or not, the way the Reddit mods got people uncomfortable was to show, hey, this information here that was a contribution from the gaming community within STO to help prop up Cryptic to keep players in the game longer has been temporarily shut down.
Yeah, but
and it made people uncomfortable. It made them think, yes, we had the negative fallout of, oh crap, well if they can do this, they can abuse this ability at any point in time that they wanted to.
Yeah.
Which isn't the case. But this showed people that a lot of the resources that are stored within that space is used by a a large number of people within the STO community, including myself.
Yeah, but they took the term moderator and made it a dictator. They didn't talk to the community. They didn't do anything. They closed it down. They put up a bullshit message, and it was done. Everybody was left to wonder what the hell is going on. And again, there's a lot of people that depended on that for entertainment, information, et cetera, et cetera. And it left it open to like, we don't know. We're just closing it down. There's no set time, no nothing. There was absolutely no communication beforehand and after the fact.
I agree with you. The message could have been a whole lot clearer and better.
Done. It was
I would agree with you on that.
Done. And that's the thing. Those people, they took the power, quote unquote, that they had and they abused it. I understand they're upset with the game. I'm upset with the game here and there and stuff like that. There are things that I think work perfectly well that people don't agree with, and vice versa. I'm not happy with the rubber banding that's been going on recently, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna deal with it, but I'm not gonna take something that's community driven, community written, and hijack it and take it away from the player base, because all they did was just piss people off. That's my 2 cents on that one. And it's not the first time they've done stuff like that. So
I'm in two schools of thought on this one here. You know this. School of thought number one, people get the heads up, and then they get the idea that, okay, we're going to do something. And some people will support it, some people won't support it, whatever, but it'll happen. The second school of thought is the way they did it. Yes, it's not perfect, but it got people to pay attention. It got people to look, got people to see the situation and say, hey, yeah, this is uncomfortable, we don't like it, this shouldn't have happened here. Granted, a lot of people were focusing on the wrong thing, and that's partially because of the message, the lack of proper communication for the message you were trying to deliver. But still, it got a lot of people thinking about what is really happening here with the STO community.
Yeah, but dude, you can't. I mean,
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. The delivery could have been better. Yes.
Well, see, the whole problem was the plan was flawed to begin with.
It's emotional.
Because
it was an emotional plan. It wasn't a logical plan.
Yeah, it was completely emotional. But even Admiral Kale stated in a response to that thread that don't go thinking that you're going to hold a gaming company hostage, because it's never going to happen. So
and it was a
basically,
fucking baller thing.
They said, literally, he said, this is a player-run community. We have nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is you guys. This isn't going to hurt us. So that really just tells you right there that Cryptic is, while they are aware that the community has some pull and can do things, They just let them know right straight up, we're not going to listen to you.
But they were already in communications with him beforehand.
Yeah.
Basically,
there was a blackout. There was a communications blackout at that point.
But dude, it's not like Kale could just sit there and hop off of whatever he's doing and make decisions. He's got people to talk to.
I understand that.
Time.
I understand that. I understand that. Oof, they lost this one bad because crap just hit. Anyway, I understand that. If you saw that, yeah, that was just wow. Okay.
I mean, dude, look at the Vatican, dude. It doesn't happen overnight. No change overnight.
I understand that. But from what I was told, there was a lack of communication for a period of time. That
how long of a time? I mean, like, we're going off of what ifs here.
From my experience dealing directly with Kale, the situation is very believable that it would have just been ignored.
I would have to see proof if I were to rule any kind of judgment or on that.
Right. I get that. I get that. I understand that. That's why, one, I said alleged, and two, that if there was any sort of issue with communication beforehand, there's a precedence for it.
I understand, but like I said, Kale is the community manager. He is not the producer. He's not a board member, so on and so forth. He's got to go through channels. Sometimes there has to be a communication blockout. Sometimes we don't know what the demands were made. We don't know who was communicating with who. We know that Kale was a part of it, but who was communicating with him? Do you have those names? Do we have those emails? Absolutely not.
No, that we do not have.
I would like a little transparency. I mean,
I agree with you on that. Yes, and there needs to be some transparency on it, which is one of the things that actually came out of this here. You know, what level of transparency are the STO Build mods going to provide for the community in their communication with Kale and anybody else at Cryptic Studios?
That aren't doctored or screenshotted and messed around with.
All right. If I send you something, would you believe it? How about that?
Yes,
probably
you
not.
Personally. Well, no, like if you sent me something that somebody else sent you, then there would be I would doubt.
But I'm talking about direct interaction for myself versus anybody else.
100%.
All right. That I can send you something later on that occurred almost 2 years ago. And then a year ago.
Well, that's fine.
But this stays between you and I, though. This stays between you and I.
But something that happened 2 years ago has nothing to do with what happened today
or
yesterday.
Right, which is true. They're separate issues, but they're related as far as the type of response.
So STO Builds, while their statement was crap and utter bullshit, they did get a point across to the devs, right? So we all agree to disagree that the methods were flawed, blah blah blah.
Well, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you as far as the delivery method. It could use a lot of work.
Like I said, I understood why they were protesting, because myself, as an avid Tribble user, I have frustration built up in me from the lack of reciprocation or communication that these bugs were acknowledged, and when they go live, knowing damn well you reported the bug 2 months ago and they still make it into live, it's just garbage. It needs to change. But so the question now is, how do we as a community formulate a way for everybody to be happy? And the first thing that comes to mind is Tribble needs to be reevaluated. Tribble needs to be completely wiped, start fresh, live holodeck code, and they have to put in more tools, I guess you would say, a better bug reporting system to actually able to help those of us who want to test and find bugs to report them efficiently and properly and make sure that they're acknowledged and that they're being worked on, and have some sort of prioritization system that we can show them.
Sort of like what SWTOR has.
Yeah, kind of like that. Mm-hmm. But there was a thing we did today, and I ran across Spencer in a CCA. Okay, I was pugging a CCA, and I was playing around, deciding to mess around and see how much damage I could do with a gravity well. And I noticed immediately the game started lagging. And I mean bad lagging. If anybody was around for the days about a year and a half, 2 years ago, where the system was over-calculating everything we did and it froze the game, it was worse than that. It was bad. So I PM Spencer. I was like, what the hell, man? So he used the Beacon of Kalos, okay? The devs cannot figure out why it's lagging. They put a fix in, and that fix was to change it from being a blind, which would reduce threat, to being a disable for everything in a 12-kilometer radius. And they thought that fixed it. And it obviously didn't, because we were breaking it yet again. And we went literally 13 minutes in a CCA. Anybody who's ever run a CCA with me knows we could do it in under a minute, in a heartbeat.
Or 14 seconds like we did the other night.
Yeah. 13 minutes of lag, Odin. 13 full minutes. Okay? So, me and Spencer, we're brainstorming. You know, we're trying to figure out what the root cause of this thing is. So we did another one. And me being, troubleshooting background, blah, 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 we observed the second CCA went way quicker. And I mean way quicker. And what happened was he triggered the beacon too soon. And we had to literally do it again, and probably 2 more times. Hey, Spencer, what's up? We had to do it 2 more times to figure it out. And we finally came to the conclusion that when the beacon is activated with a number of allies around you in a close radius within that radius of the beacon, it causes a feedback of some sort that is literally rubber banding. You're not taking damage. The only thing that was taking damage was the crystal because of all the dots we put on. And from that, we extrapolated that it's a player-caused phenomenon that is happening. And we noticed and observed that when one of the guys in the team group area died, we actually triggered our continuities, got pushed back, and the lag stopped immediately. So we're taking that information. Spencer's in talks with Spartan, and he PM'd him and wrote on Reddit, letting him know what we observed and discovered and what our hypothesis is on what the root cause is. So if they can take that information and use that tidbit to look into part of the player interactions with that beacon, that might give them a clue of where to start and find what is actually causing this bug. That's the kind of interaction we need on Tribble.
Hold on.
We can't do that on Tribble.
All right, just for my curiosity's sake here, the latency issue only happens whenever there are multiple players around and the beacon is activated?
Yes, from what we observed, it has to be more than 2 players. Because the second test we did, me and Spencer were the first one at the crystal, and he popped it. So it was, I'm going to say, anywhere between 3 and 8 players causes the problem.
Have you tested with the number of buffs per player?
Had nothing to do with buffs. Because we went in, the first time we went in unloaded, okay, got the lag. Second time we went in, he popped it, then we unloaded, got the lag. Third time we went in, we waited for everybody to be close enough to us before he popped it. And that literally started the lag fest all over again. That CCA took 9 minutes until that one player died, and then it restarted.
I'm only asking, because it may not be just the number of players, but the number of effects per player that may be...
Most of them weren't shooting anything.
Well, the status effects on the player, buffs and debuffs, can probably have some sort of interaction with this ability.
I don't think it was the buffs and debuffs.
Well, how did this get past Q&A is my question.
That's what we're griping about.
Right.
Wasn't there a recent stream where we got to meet a couple of them?
Yeah, but the problem is not everything goes to Tribble for testing. This is one of those instances where this was done behind closed doors. Red shirt, Tribble, whatever. this testing on this item was done behind closed doors. It went live, and boom, the bugs appeared. So that leads me to believe that their Q&A isn't actually doing group testing. They're probably doing singles testing, because Spencer tested out, the singles testing, and he didn't trigger lag. It was only when we were in groups of players that were close-knit within the range of that beacon, that's when the lag happened. So my whole thing is they need to change Tribble. They need to change the way that testing is happening on Tribble. Get more players involved. Get people incentivized to go there and actually take part and do that. Because the bug bashers aren't doing it anymore. None of them are doing anything.
Well, Spencer,
they're just enjoying the title.
Well, Spencer just said in chat that it's bugs. They don't know that they have the what abilities they have to hit. They have no Q&A.
No. He's talking about the runs that we did.
Oh,
they were mostly pugs, and they didn't have a ton of abilities. Him and I were the highest DPS buffs in there.
But he just said they have no Q&A.
Yeah, they have no Q&A over there. I mean, it's not like they're doing singles testing, and you cannot properly test a lot of these things in a group setting if you're only testing it as a single player. They have to get groups together to test these things.
Well, how did they not know that though? I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me.
Because, like I said, they're testing it. Like, let's say, okay, I'm a Q&A guy, and my boss says, here, test out this new beacon of Kalos. I go flying into a patrol mission or something like that. I trigger it a couple times. It disables everything. The things pop out. Okay, it's cool. It works. But it isn't until it goes live that players get their hands on it, and we do what we do and group up. That's what's happening.
So the player base is Q&A then.
Yeah, we're essentially Q&A at this point, because we're trying to passionately help them get rid of these bugs at no compensation to us whatsoever.
But that's the thing, that they're taking it over onto holodeck, and we're basically testing it and stuff like that, et cetera, et cetera. But the problem is, when we tell them about the bugs, nothing gets fixed, or does get fixed. I mean,
a lot of it's not getting fixed. I mean, it takes them forever to track down these bugs, and I blame a lot of that on their deadlines and their schedules. Their corporation.
Who has a direct line? Because obviously going through the game itself doesn't work. You mentioned that Spencer's talking with Cryptic, Spartan, I believe. And so Spencer has a direct line? Who else has a direct line?
Kinda. I mean, it's not like he can go to him every day and say, hey, we found another bug. I mean, he tries, but they can only do so much with the timetables that they have. And I understand that part. Being on a corporate side, working for AT&T, we had a lot of crunch time. A lot of it.
I'm going to stop you. So you mean to tell me Spencer has more control or say-so, single player to another person, another dev, than all the bug bashers and then all the abilities within the game itself to communicate what's going on wrong?
Allegedly, it seems like, Proteus?
Well, I'm not trying to call Spencer out personally. I'm just saying, isn't that kind of a little warped? I mean, or Cryptic Spartan at all and stuff like that. That's not what I'm going with here. It's. I mean,
well, it's like Spencer just said.
What's the point of the bug bashers? What's the point of reporting a problem within the game through, the cog and stuff like that? I don't understand this. None of this is making any sense to me.
Well, it's their prioritization that's the problem, because they're prioritizing, like, I've seen numerous bug or friggin' patch notes on Tribble where they fixed a graphical issue with a costume, but yet a months-old bug is still there, still not fixed, and still not being worked on. And that's what we're trying to do, is get them to be transparent about what they're doing, so we know that they're acknowledging these bugs and actually working on them. They need a new bug system.
But do you have an example?
Neutronic two-piece.
Example of what?
Of the old bug in the, the
Neutronic two-piece. Yeah. It's coming back again. Two-piece doesn't work.
I mean, there's all sorts of old, long-standing bugs that are in the game that are getting washed
look
away.
At our effing queue system right now. We have
the team bugs. The team bugs are horrible.
What's the name you came up with? It
Rando Commando.
Yeah.
No, not the Rando Commando. How we get into a team to be.
How we fix the team bug? We call it fucking hokey pokey.
The hokey pokey. Explain this to me, please.
Please, for the audience who doesn't know this.
Please, absolutely, Curtis.
All right. When the random TFOs first came out, there was a glitch that we noticed with the teaming system, to where if you wanted to team up with a bunch of people on a regular team, not a private, and one guy would click the queue to be, queued up, like let's say we're doing ISA, if the glitch took place, only the guy who queued up got into the match. Everybody else was stuck. They were left out. So what we did was we tried many different methods of trying to fix this, and what I did was I made a workaround for this. Basically what you do is you get everybody on the team first, and you check to see if the queue boxes are either gray or black. If anybody but the leader has black, you need to kill everybody in the team, just kill the team, invite them all into a private match, kick them all out of it, put them back on the team, then the team leader queues up once and unqueues to pull himself out of a TFO that he was stuck in. And then the second queue up, everybody will get the green light. And that's what we call the hokey pokey, folks.
Absolutely ridiculous.
But it happens, and this isn't a random once in a blue moon thing. This happens every single day. And what I've narrowed it down to is the team system is not pulling you out of private TFOs, even though you're not in one. Somebody might still be in one. It's not pulling you out when you team up normally. So you have to do this whole hokey pokey thing to pull everybody in, pull everybody out, and pull everybody back in again.
No, Captain Jesse, it's not an engine issue. The engine should be able to handle what's going on just fine.
Yeah.
And like Spencer said, he can't just bug Spartan every day. Hey, I found another bug. He only tries to talk to him when it's a serious issue, a game-breaking issue that can cause lots of players.
I'm not trying to call him out personally. I've heard this. Like, the only time things get fixed is when one individual happens to know another individual that works for Cryptic. That's when things tend to get fixed.
Remember, and this goes to something else that we're going to bring up here shortly anyway. But remember when there were some major issues with the latency on, what was it, the 4th anniversary or 5th anniversary? No. Those was 7th or 8th anniversary. Come on, help me out there. One of the anniversary events, 2 years ago.
Calculations?
What's a stupid little thing that you have to do, the Omega Particle event?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes, that one. Remember the whole complaint factor on that?
Oh yeah.
And what it took to actually get a response? Instead of, well, it's lagging because a whole bunch of players are joining us now and they love the game.
Yeah, that was the response that we got from that guy. Who no longer works for the company, if I remember correct.
Not on STO directly, I believe. Or is he just completely gone?
I don't know. I haven't looked. I can really care less.
You gotta look at these people that work for Cryptic, they're employees. It's the same as, like, I worked in healthcare many years. I was not a doctor, but I, would work with the doctor, et cetera, et cetera. Patients would ask me, "Oh, is this going to hurt me? Is this?" I'd always tell them, "I can't answer that for you. You have to wait for the doctor." Basically, a lot of the people that work for Cryptic and stuff like that are in communities, that are on Twitter, that are in all the different forms of communication, stuff like that. Dude, they gotta answer to somebody else above them, and whoever that person is, that's who we need to hold accountable.
Well, we get that, but at least
to fly to China, that ain't gonna happen.
Right, but we get that, but at least for something like that, where you have a producer making a remark like that, You know, to tell people, oh, you're not able to actually play the game that either you're sitting here and free to play, or if you're paid for stuff.
That's not our current producer. Right?
That's not our current producer, but previous producer. At the time, who was a producer. Making a response like that and dismissing it like, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Forget it. That's unprofessional. It's also uncalled for.
Yeah, it is. But I have a glimmer, and I say this with a grain of salt, a glimmer of hope with this new producer that they just hired on. Because when I was watching the live stream that he did with Kale, he talked a lot about his gaming background. And, you know, he came from what they classify as mobile gaming platforms, where they're more about the money than anything else.
Yeah.
And he said it's refreshing to come to a game like this where he can focus more on the quality of stuff, and that's what he wants to do. He wants more quality for the player base, more content, you know, less bugs. He wants to focus on that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of hopeful, but we're still seeing things get pushed live that should never have been pushed live.
Again, that might be something that they have no control over. I don't mean to sound like I'm smooching boot, but...
Well, it's true. They do have their deadlines and their crunch time, but most of the problem stems from Tribble. Tribble does not have a proper testing environment. It hasn't for years. It's 3 years running on the old...
We need to get people, like I said, this one person talk to this one person, get with the Q&A people. You know, start talking to those guys and stuff like that. Maybe they could bring in like some group of people to come and help them test stuff. I don't know.
All right, well,
I don't know.
I'm going to interrupt you here and bring up two different points that are related. One, your tools are only as good as the people who are knowledgeable and capable of using them.
Correct.
Two, remember the whole hubbub after the con incident where they actually got all Borticus et al. Had a bunch of people come on a Tribble to test stuff left and right.
Explain the con incident so people understand it, because there's probably a lot of new people here, etc., etc.
There's an episode of the
Wait. While you're explaining that, I need to use the bathroom, so I'll be right.
Go for it. There was an episode of the show where we were bringing in a couple other people who were just regular players from the game, and one of them was named Khan, and he's very much a tell it like it is type of person, and he was restraining himself for the better part of the show. And then we got to one part of it where we were discussing the issue between latency and then some of the something else with as far as packages or some sort of purchase package that was going on. And so I asked him, you know, just give us your opinion, your unfiltered opinion. There was a comment that he made that very much triggered a whole bunch of people. And, you know, granted, that caused a big us versus them rift between the developers, the producers, and a few of us between the show and whoever was affiliated with it. Since then, we actually developed a stronger relationship with the developers and the producers. And we wanted them to not only bring their side to the table and in the open, but also discuss them and their lives and what brings them to Cryptic and how they enjoy gaming or enjoy this game in particular, what they bring to the table to it. So it's more than just here's this position and the person filling that role, but who is the actual person behind the position, what's their passion in the game, etc. So there was some good that came out of a bad situation, but it took a lot of owning up to the bad situation and people recognizing, well, there is some level of responsibility that we have as players, as a developer, as a producer, as a graphic artist, as a person who's doing quality assurance. There are responsibility levels for all of us involved in this. And until we actually see this and say, hey, we should hold each other and ourselves to a higher standard, nothing's going to get resolved.
I agree, but I want to go back to that's why you don't hijack, a Stone Reddit forum the way it happened.
I'm not going to say the ends justify the means. I will say, as a person who was inconvenienced by that, because I was using that, it was early in the morning when I found out. And I just found out because I was a regular user. I was a regular user. And
Programmed.
Right, but, I came in, hey, you want to bring in Aponte down on this one as well? As a regular user of Stowe builds, whenever I want to reference something, and my torpedo guide heavily references Stowe builds. So if that's set to private, I'm SOL on my guide. So that's my 2 cents on it. I had a stake in this too. With that said, I fully supported what the heck they were doing.
Well,
because I understand the big picture off of it. Granted, it wasn't clearly communicated, but I understood where they were coming from. And something like this is needed to shake him up.
They're moderators. They're not dictators. They're there to moderate. They're not there to say that we're going to take this online, offline, etc., etc.
Yeah, that resource belongs to the community, not them.
They're caretakers first, moderators second.
Yeah, and they failed horribly.
They didn't fail horribly, though.
They failed. They did not. They did not take into consideration what they were doing.
They did not
care about what the people thought.
As far as inspiring confidence, as far as the data being caretaken, yes, there was failure there.
Anytime you take away the exchange of ideas, it's a failure, and that's exactly what it was. 100% a failure.
I will not disagree with you as far as the lack of communication hurt rather than help the message you were trying to broadcast. Lack of clear communication.
They could have done it better.
I will agree with you on that.
Excuse me? How would people that didn't know how to communicate with them, how would they do that? All they got was a bullshit message that they got to look at and wonder, what do I do now? Oh, let's search it somewhere else on Reddit. Who else has a
with 500-word character? I would have had a link to a manifesto and a whole bunch of reasons off of that. But prior to that, having a bit of communication. With that said, I would have still done the move.
And I don't want to me and Spencer don't get along on a lot of things and stuff like that. But when he said that they should resign, I 100% agree with that. Those people should not have that much power to where they can do something like that. Those people that were involved in that should resign and give it over to people that can be responsible and take care of the community.
All right.
Thank you.
Odin.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea how long they were planning to keep?
Not longer than a month.
Month plus. Do you know what would have happened to that community if they had gone longer than a... Well, actually, it did happen. They started their own Reddit.
Right, we get that.
There's already a new Reddit up and running, and I can guarantee you...
SOB and a couple other people have got to that. Yes, there is going to be some sort of blowback from this. That's expected.
Blowback? They're going to reap the whirlwind, bro.
I mean, dude, we do not negotiate with terrorists. I mean, when you sit there, go up a multi-million-dollar company and pull some stuff like this, what do you think Cryptic's going to do? You get, what Kale responded to. I mean, dude, this was terrorism. I'm sorry.
It's not. All right, listen. And I will say this, drawing from real-world analogies here on this. The same thing was said.
I'll give you one.
The same thing was said between the civil rights movement. The same thing was said with
No.
women's
Let's not get into civil rights. Let's not get into that.
Why not? I mean, how's that not fair? The same rhetoric was there.
No bullshit.
What is a real damage here done with STO build saying no information is going to be shown for a day?
I'm going to give you a real world example of a situation that this is identical to, and you tell me if it's right or wrong. Okay?
Go for it.
I work at a large company. I'm in charge of payroll along with a couple of other people. We oversee everybody's paychecks.
He works at
Okay? Okay? So corporate decides they don't want to give us any more pay raises, benefits, perks, or whatever. So me and my payroll buddies decide to hold everybody's paycheck in the entire company hostage. That's essentially what they did here. Same situation. Do you think it would be right of those few people to hold everybody's paychecks back just because they feel they want to protest? I'll wait.
As far as disrupting the actual livelihood and existence of those people there, protesting in that specific manner, no.
Same difference.
There's a huge difference.
No, there isn't.
Huge difference. Yes, there is.
They're taking something that belongs to the community, not them.
Can I explain the huge difference? One, scope of impact. The information that is within STO builds is not going to be a livelihood or life or death situation for anybody.
But it belongs to the players,
right,
not them.
But there are a lot of people that depend on those builds.
Right, myself included. My builds are in there. I use them to reference for other people. I use some of the math formulas they have there to reference for my guy.
Pause. Hassel, hi. We mentioned you. Now shut.
Wow.
He was begging. Come on.
He was begging. Okay. Hassel, you've been begged. Beg no more.
All right, people go look up Augment and Dictator, blah, blah, blah games, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, okay, how dare you compare this to the Civil Rights Movement? It is nothing similar whatsoever.
Inconvenience. All right. When some people...
That's not fair, dude.
Listen. I only bring it to that extreme because a lot of the actions and responses are very similar. You look at it through history, through the lens of the people right there. Having somebody come into your restaurant and sit down is an uncomfortable...
Yeah, but Cryptic is not discriminating against a certain race or type of people.
No, it wasn't Cryptic. It was the moderators that caused...
Exactly. It was the moderators.
The civil discourse in this case... The civil discourse in this case is to withhold information that is being used by Cryptic for the benefit of Cryptic.
I hate to burst your bubble, but that's not what it was for.
It was QQ and, tantrums.
And like I said before, while I understand why they wanted to protest, I understand that completely.
I'm all about protesting.
But what they did was foul. It was akin to the DPS fiasco a couple years ago when the Metals channels decided to wipe the channels and try to reinvite everybody to new channels and make it look like they were reorganizing. Same difference.
No, there's a huge difference in there. A huge difference.
No.
Deception was involved. Deception was involved there. Whereas this case there is not.
They both fucked the community. Why is that so hard to see?
Again, if they were communicating
situation, a handful of people thought they could play God.
The playing God antics, I will agree with you on. But as far as being able to say, hey, look, if I was a moderator of STO builds and I convinced all the other moderators, you know what, we should do a protest shutdown. But instead, let's take it to the community and let them know for this time period, STO builds will be shut down. And we're doing this for this reason.
That's what we're trying to tell you. That's the difference, though. They had no fucking consideration for the community whatsoever.
They just took their ball and went zero.
Okay, all right. I get that. I understand that. I agree with you on that. But still, in both scenarios, the shutdown is going to happen.
it shouldn't have happened. That's the point.
I mean, like, again, if they communicate and stuff like that, I'm okay with the shutdown. Even our own democracy, our own government in the United States does that. It happens. But there was no effing communication. There was nothing. It was a bunch of selfish, self-centered weirdos that were, quote-unquote, communicating with Kale, the community manager. None of us knew about it. They were communicating with them secretly, and they didn't like that he didn't get back to him within 48 hours. I don't care what the time is. It was a joke. Whatever. But the fact is that they pulled the plug, they let nobody know, and put up a bullshit answer, and they should not be in charge of that.
Nope. They should step aside.
Step aside and let other people take charge. Or put it up to a vote. I don't care. What they did was wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Now, the shutdown was wrong, or the method in doing the shutdown was wrong?
The method in doing the shutdown was absolutely 100% wrong. A shutdown could be done if people were on board, if it's communicated. Again, our government, they let us know, oh, there might be a government shutdown. Employees, government employees may not be able to get paid, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a thing that goes on beforehand. People start rushing. People start getting concerned. Things get fixed.
But hold on. But that specific example you just gave there is more in line with Proteus's example of payroll holding the checks hostage.
Yeah, and that's what the SEO builds did.
Well, exactly, I mean, but all right, there's a huge scope there. That's a huge impact on people's lives thing versus, hey, here's something that's a nice convenience for people within the gaming community. If SEO builds disappeared, yes, that's a lot of work that went into it that just evaporated. Some may not be recreated for a very long time, if ever, in the same way. But it can be found again because the for the most part, the mechanics are still there. It just takes somebody else to be able to take time to reverse engineer the mechanics and then come up with the same formula again that's been done beforehand. We get that. Eventually it'll be rediscovered again. The point is, though, that if Stowe builds disappeared tomorrow before SOB captured all of the data and dumped it into a new Reddit, nobody's livelihood is going to be upset or destroyed over that.
The only livelihood is the stupid amounts of money that I've dumped in this game throughout the years. I mean, that was my livelihood, but it's time. It's entertainment. People work, they have fucking things that they got going on in their lives. They want to escape. They want to fucking play Stowe. They want to ban Spacebar. They want to get good. And what that community did, what that Reddit community did, was absolutely abhorrent.
And we're going back in circles on the agreement and disagreeing in some areas over here. But to another point that you just brought up, another thing that you brought up right over here, you said that you were dumping money into Star Trek Online. Have you been doing so recently?
No, recently, because I got pretty much everything I want. If there's a ship or something that I really, really want, I will.
You will.
Yeah, now, yes and no.
Are you more or less reluctant to spend money in Stowe now, based off of what you're seeing coming from?
Okay, from a new player base, that's kind of hard to do. Because the game was effed up, dude. I came in right before Delta Rising. I mean, then after Delta Rising, everything fell off, and most of the community left, et cetera, et cetera. But I still kept dumping money in. People are gonna dump money in for costumes, ships, weapons, et cetera, because it's Star Trek. Simple as that. They're going to.
All right, so the IP is carrying a lot of Stowe's.
Of course. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I don't know anything else that Cryptic itself done. I've not played anything. It's not anything out of, fuck this game. Dude, I don't know. I do not know enough. All I know is this is my first MMO. I played SWTOR since. I love both games. And that's all I know. I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask on that one.
What about you, Proteus?
Sorry, I was reading something. What was the question?
Are you more or less reluctant now to put money into Star Trek Online?
Less. I mean, for me personally, I'm one of those guys who likes to crunch numbers. I like to theory craft. I like to find things that are wrong, find workarounds for them. But if my time and effort is going to go unheard, unnoticed, or unchecked, then what's the point of me continuing my relationship with this game and continuing to try to grow the community within the game as well as without? I mean, what's the point of doing that if we can't get a solid, stable place for us to communicate with the devs and have our fears and our worries and our concerns addressed? We need that. That needs to happen for this community, because without it, it's just going to be more of the same. We're going to report bugs. They're going to get butthurt. They're going to nerf something into the ground, or it's going to go live again and break the game, like with the exchange bug, and it's going to hurt the community. The community should be first and foremost
100%.
in the back of the devs' minds. Always.
In moderators' minds.
I don't care about moderators of some community website run by players. I don't care about
whether it's Facebook, whether it's Discords and stuff like that, or even fleets, dude. Do not take advantage of your player base. Never.
Yeah,
don't do that to them.
I mean, just take a look at what we've got.
Your fleet. Don't do. Do not do that.
We have, and I'm getting off the Stow Bills thing because that's a dead horse. We need to focus more on the future now and what the communities in this game, because there are various communities, can do to help and to push forward for progress and change. Because unless we do this as a community, okay, we're not going to make Cryptic understand what we want and what we need to make this game better for them and for us. Because you have a whole host of players like myself, like Spencer, like Aponte, Astro, Odin. We like to test things. We like to get to the nitty-gritty. We like to find out why it's broken. And we usually do. We usually even fucking come up with workarounds for certain things and bugs in the game, like we've seen, with the team bugs and all that other crap. The hokey pokey. We need the community to come forward and let Cryptic know. I mean, even if it's just everybody download Tribble. Get on Tribble. Try to, do some testing. Even if you don't like to, play with people who are on Tribble, who want to do the testing, so we can get groups together to show that the Cryptics needs to have Tribble redone and put it in a format that we can easily keep track of the bugs, so that we can report the bugs properly to them before they go live. Because otherwise, this crap's going to keep happening.
I still am of the entire mindset of this. If there wasn't an issue with software being put out incomplete, there wouldn't be a bunch of these type of issues, protests, etc. People wouldn't be so angry about or upset or disappointed about it. But the majority of people, the realistic thing, the majority of people really don't care. So long as their sandwich is still going into their mouth, they're okay with that.
Again, I'm all about people organizing some kind of a protest. Organizing publicly with the community. That's 100%. I'm down with that. Because there's things I'm not happy with, et cetera, et cetera. And, obviously, we powered the company that builds this game. And if we stop powering it, it will either shut down or get fixed, right?
Well, we hope it gets fixed because a lot of us do enjoy this game. But we don't want it to go down.
Somebody organize something. I'm not going to do it. Somebody organize something.
We tried that beforehand. Remember with the show? We tried it a bunch of times.
I think there are a couple movements right now that I've gotten hint and rumor of that might be working towards doing something like that. But I'm not going to say anything about it yet until we know for sure what the plan is going to be.
As long as it's moral and not illegal.
Well, yeah, it's going to be moral. It's going to be completely, you know, within our rights as players. But once we know what the plan is, then we can start organizing the community together and get everybody, all the influence makers in the game together to actually push this live and make it go forward so we can make a better game for the community.
Now, we've done something like this 2 years ago, which was part of the reason why Continuum from the community set came together, where we had several different groups of a lot of power players within their own little respective community. DPS channels, Zeph Films, you, Astro, myself, a bunch of other the different groups actually came together. That's how a lot of us started playing together, because of something like this, where we say, hey, you know what? Let's put our collective efforts together and see if we can work with the developers to make this game better. And for a while, there was a lot more interaction than what we had in the past, where the communication was always one way and anything else that was being sent upstream felt ignored. Whether it was really ignored or not, the perception was that it was either being ignored, or if it was being taken, those fixes do not remain in place. And that's the reality. Some of the fixes do not remain in place. Whether it's a versioning issue, whether it's a controls issue, whether it's somebody forgot to send the right backup to the right library and they pulled it back, or who knows what. But something
that
keeps happening.
From Tribble, though.
Part of it is from Tribble, yes. The other part is from
3-year-old code. It hasn't been wiped in 3 years, so it hasn't seen a live copy in 3 years. That's a lot of spaghetti code that's been jumbled around, tossed around, and messed with before it actually made the live. So what they're doing is they're testing the crap on an old core, and they're taking the core of the patch, not the entire Tribble. They're just taking the core of the patch and pushing that live, which will work differently on the live server because of a different set of programming standards. So that's what we need to change. It needs to be fixed.
Well, how about this? Everybody's got Facebook, everybody's got Twitter, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Why don't we share this video?
Yeah, we can start. This will be the stepping stone. But as with previous hypercritical videos of the past have shown, Cryptic will basically turtle up.
There was nothing hypercritical.
They can't
take. There was nothing
Are you kidding
bad.
me? We're super hypercritical tonight.
Oh my god, we didn't pull a con.
No, we didn't pull a con. I didn't say overcritical. I didn't say overcritical.
We didn't say red alert, you know.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure we were all reasonable here, other than the civil rights.
Yeah, but we've seen patterns of behavior in the past with the way they handle this type of criticism. They can't handle it. They turtle up and they get defensive. I mean, look at the plasma consoles, for instance. How long did we go talking back and forth with them, trying to get them to fix the consoles and point out that the code was flawed, the broken code was causing a problem, and when we pointed out it was their fault, what did they do? They nerfed the living hell out of those consoles to the point where nobody uses them anymore unless you're running threat. That's it. So we have to, when it comes to Cryptic, we have to wear kid gloves when we're approaching them and talking to them about this kind of stuff. Brute force tactics and hostage takeovers are not going to work with them. We have to find a different approach.
What's the different approach, though?
Better communication, but we have to gain their trust first to let them know, hey, we want this open dialogue through the entire community with full transparency, so that everybody knows what we're talking about, what we're doing, what the plans are, so that nobody can get butthurt, nobody can take offense, nobody can take charge, nobody can try to be a dictator. It has to be open on both sides of the fence.
I believe you were a part of that 2 years ago.
We tried.
We did try. Now, how do we make it consistent? and it needs to be consistent on both ends. Correct?
That's where the community comes in.
Ah,
we need to ask the community to step up and help, to step up and spread the word, to step up and let Cryptic know that we are aware of what they're doing, and we need to let them know that they need to regain our trust, they need to regain our wallet, and they need to regain their community back. That's what they need to do.
Now, this brings me up to my next point, though. And this is focusing on the gaming community as a whole. Not just STO's ecosystem, but gamers as a whole in this day and age. How do you get the attention span of your average gamer, PC gamer today, to be able to say, get past this little portion of your screen, quit just merely complaining about this bug over here and putting up with it, and actually put it down for a moment until it gets fixed properly?
The only way you can do that, you would have to get with all the Facebook groups. You would have to get with all the YouTubers. You would have to get with everybody on Twitter. You would have to get with everybody on Reddit. And all those groups are not connected. They are connected, but they're not.
That's why I said we need the entire community, not just groups and little pieces here and there. The entire gaming community for Star Trek needs to be behind this to affect.
Now, STO is somewhat unique as an MMO from other MMOs. I've been a gamer for a very long time, since the original Nintendo. But as far as online gaming, multi-user dungeons, NetTrek, for those of you who are Solaris users, you'll know all this fun stuff. Yeah.
Those don't count as MMOs, bro. They were chat rooms.
No, what? NetTrek?
The grandfather of all MMOs.
Muds.
Ultima Online, 20 years ago.
Graphical MMOs, yes.
My God, you guys are killing me with this murder.
Anyway, back to the point. Come on, SOB, I'll show you exactly how this is done, okay? This is how you run a torp boat. You see this thing?
Wow.
I'm gonna leave all this shit here. Yeah, exactly. Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
No Apache, Phoenix, Spirit Song.
Right?
Boom, I don't even need to blow up all that stuff down there. You see, it's all intact. That's how you do it, SOB. That's how you do it.
This is how we do it. It's not Friday night. It's Wednesday night. That's weird. Technically Thursday now. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
By the way, happy Thanksgiving to everybody else. For those who
for
didn't
us,
know.
Americanos, for us, all that thanking and giving that we did with the natives here. Sorry, brothers.
I'm only partially native. Thank you very much. I'm a Heinz 57. I have lots of different cultures.
Anyway, as far as going back to what I was saying, thank you, SOV, for the little distraction. I've done alpha testing, beta testing. I've helped with a couple of independent developers, games. Big stuff, little stuff, everything from Earth and Beyond Online, which is one of my biggest things there, to alpha friends and family alpha testing World of Warcraft. I've seen a lot of games. I played a lot of them, and STO is its own little special snowflake. It's got a lot of traditional stuff, but it's an arcade MMO with a little bit of RPG elements in it, in a different system.
Space Barbie.
With Space Barbie, with a little bit of Second Life thrown in there, all these other little elements in here that STO has the capability of becoming and doing, but it's not any of those.
If this was Second Life, this game would be rated RRR.
Have you seen freaking Drozana and Ryza?
That's PG compared to Second Life, bro.
Okay, well, anyway. The point is that for a lot of people, Astro said it himself, STO is their first MMO. This is the AOL of the internet for them. And
oh my God, I hate you for bringing up AOL.
Yes, but it's true. It's true, though.
Bro.
It's true though. This is their version of AOL from an MMO standpoint, and their experiences is, well, this has got to be the norm for all of the MMORPG gaming industry. And 8 years ago, the answer would have been no. Now it's a yes.
See, we have. I mean, it still has a very unique community. It's divided by DPS mainly, and there's a lot of role players, there's a lot of casuals, there's a lot of elitists, there's a lot of, you know, hardcore gamers, power gamers. We have a broad spectrum of gaming community. But we also have a lot of players that play this game who have decades of experience playing video games, multiple dozens upon dozens of video games, betas and alphas. I mean, I've played so many betas and alphas, it's not even funny. So I'm very familiar with testing processes and bug reports and all that stuff. Cryptic has an untapped resource with the player base. If they took it seriously, and I'm not talking about that bug basher crap initiative that went nowhere. If they took it seriously and gave us the tools and the keys that we needed on Tribble to actually test this stuff properly, we could cut their production time down, because we would find the bugs faster, we would find the resolutions quicker, and we would give them a pinpoint accurate point of origin to start their investigation to find out what's causing the bug. I mean, me and Spencer proved it today. We've narrowed it down for them so that they have a smaller group of data to look at to find out where this bug is coming from. So if they took advantage of that, and I'm not saying, you know, everybody's going to want to do it for free, but I don't even need compensation. I love this game. I love playing this game. I love being a part of this community. I want to see this community thrive. I would do it for free. I would go onto Tribble if I had the proper tools to do it and literally work for free. There, I said it.
You lost me at free. But all right.
But all right.
Well, no,
Okay.
dude,
You wouldn't have to compensate me. I mean, if they,
no, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm busting balls. But I mean, like, yeah, dude. Like, even if they could do something, because don't they have Tribble and then red shirts and stuff like that? Like,
They have monitoring tools. I don't know to what extent those tools monitor activity, but they do have the capability of doing at least some sort of monitoring and
like,
user
dude,
statistics.
I wouldn't mind hanging out with the Q&A team, dude. Like, bring them into fucking runs with us. Let us explain how we're doing stuff like that. They have to get, like, in with us, though. I mean, like, not like, you know, like we're like doing Blood Brothers shit and stuff. That's weird. But, you know, like, you know, doing runs and stuff like that and seeing how we build things. Because I doubt that they even build how we build.
no, they don't.
I mean, look at how we get our stock ships. That's ridiculous. I mean,
It's if I could turn the clock back just a little bit, I would go back to when Tribble was in its infancy.
not your
That was
Caroline.
when you saw a lot more players interacting. You actually saw devs and Q&A people on Tribble. We actually interacted with them back then.
Yeah, because they took the
stopped
time to
a
be able
lot
to
of
say,
that.
"Hey, remember when the developers 2 years ago said, come on over, we're throwing a Tribble party, we're going to do it at this time and this time here." Some of the devs back then from Season 3 were all in Tribble after their work shift. They volunteered their own time to do that. They were playing casually like us players. And we hopped in there. Some of us knew what the hell we were talking about. Some of us didn't. They still played with us and talked to all of us, regardless of our knowledge. And they had fun with us while feeling the things that we were feeling as far as the gameplay itself, while understanding how people were making their builds and the reason why. And they made some adjustments to the mechanics. back then, tricobalts were doing way too much damage for the hull and the pace of the game. Way too much. So they decided to roll it back. It was ridiculous. Okay, when I say it's too damn much, it's way too damn much. It needed to be adjusted. And it was adjusted. The gameplay has changed. The mechanics, for the most part, have changed. The change to allow them to be viable again needs to happen. Doesn't need to be overpowered. It needs to be viable.
Basically, it's
like
help us help you.
Right.
Help us help you. Yeah.
Well, it's like Spencer brought up. You see, it wasn't that long ago that they put Drozana console in, to where you could actually get some stuff that you needed to test out and stuff like that, and you didn't have to grind for it. That was a brilliant move. That was completely brilliant, because that allowed people to actually go into Tribble, not have to worry about, you know, grinding the hell out of everything like we used to back in the day, and get access to the stuff immediately. What they need to do is wipe Tribble, put that Drozana console, redesign it to where it has, you know, more testing tools so that we can test everything properly.
Or they could even give it to sort of like what they do with the Lifetimer bullshit on Holodeck. Like only certain people could pull out everything that they trust or whatever.
Yeah, or vet a few players who have proven themselves and know what they're doing, and give them like on Ultima Online back in the day, you had game masters, okay, kind of like devs we have now, and you had a separate Q&A. But they started a player program called the Counselor Program, okay? And basically what this was, when a player queued up and said, hey, I need help, a counselor would show up first. They had a certain limited set of powers they could do. They could move a player if they were stuck, or, you know, they could pick up something off the ground that couldn't be picked up, you know, stuff like that. It was minor little powers. But the counselor program helped the community a great deal. See, now on Tribble, they could do the same thing. They don't have to give us dev powers. They could assign a new group and have like minor little powers to where we could open up an inventory for that certain set of players to be able to pull some of the new stuff out to test it, so that we can get our hands on it and test it and give them a proper report of what's going on with it, so that they know whether or not it works before it goes live.
I believe something like that had already happened before, and SLB, can you clarify this, because it's been a while, but there were a few power players who were invited to test all hands on deck. And the original version that was released was reported to be too much, too overpowered for what that trait was doing. The cooldowns happened way too much. And it needed to be scaled back. And eventually it was scaled back after a bunch of sales were going through, I guess, whatever. I'm only speculating at this point. But in its initial release, it was way too much. Same thing with Neutronic. It was overpowered initially. Excuse me.
Yeah, but you see, even back then, the players didn't have the proper tools to actually get the job done as far as testing everything out properly.
Right.
And that's what we need on Tribble. We need dedicated people that want to do the Tribble testing. And we're just not... Because everybody's lost faith. Nobody wants to go report bugs that aren't going to get recognized or even bother to be worked on. I mean,
Well, I mean, you can give them a fancy new title so they can go around and throw it in everybody's faces.
I don't even
forget
want
the
to
titles. Forget the titles. Forget everything else.
I'm a bug basher, damn it! I'm somebody.
To the original point.
What?
To the original point that we were going through, as far as getting the community collectively to care about, one, holding a studio accountable for delivering a quality product, and two, supporting said quality product. How do we get the community motivated to this initiative?
Well, first we have to get the developers to be more transparent and communicate with us their intentions as far as this whole testing environment goes and the way bugs are going to be handled in the future. Because unless that happens, the community's not going to trust them. It's not going to happen. They need to take the first step. They need to take the first initiative and get everybody's trust back so that people like me and Spencer and Odin and Astro and Aponte and other people in the community that have done numerous hours of testing will want to go back to doing that again. Because unless we get a guarantee of some form that our voices will be heard and they will acknowledge that the bug is there and prioritize them properly, it's not going to work.
Well, dude, and it's not even just with Cryptic itself, dude. It's within the whole tribalistic bullshit, which is SGO, whether it's fleets, chats, channels, Discord, Facebook, etc., on Twitter. There's too many little cliques and groups of people that they think their way is the best, and that's how it is.
And that's fine. Everybody having their own little cliques and groups, fine, whatever. But again, we have to come to a consensus now as a community.
How are we?
We have to figure it out. We're going to have to figure it out.
What format?
We don't know yet. We'll have to pan that out. We'll have to get all the big communities together and have a sit down and talk about it. Because unless we do this as a community and get Cryptic involved to actually make these changes, this game is going to slowly dwindle and wither away. And I don't want to see that.
Yeah, Captain Jesse, we do not use the embassy consoles whatsoever anymore. Sorry.
Unless you're threat tanking.
Even still, there's other better methods, I think.
Not to get that much threat, bro.
That's why you gotta throw a little DPS into it.
Yeah, but then you eat everybody else's pie,
What?
Well, we get it. You're a pie eater. We get
what? Me doing like 50-60K is pie eating? Come on.
No. Going in as a threat tank and pulling 130K is a pie eater.
Bish, posh.
Don't hate.
I'm not hating. My tank is the shit. Nobody dies when I go tanking.
All right, so community motivation, step 1. Simultaneously, step 1. Dev-player communication needs to remain concise, informative, and consistent.
Yeah, no con outbursts, please.
Yeah, no con outbursts. The players also have to recognize that if we're going to try to do this, that everybody has to be civil about their criticism. Everybody.
You said civil.
And everybody knows how hypercritical I am about this game and the way they're doing things behind the scenes. Everybody knows. There's no secret about that. But I am civil when I ask them serious questions about things that are happening in this game. I don't go forward and tell them you're a bunch of fucktards. You need to do this. You need to do that. I'm going to quit the game. No. I actually confront them with logic and reason. And that's the best way to confront people like this in that type of situation, to get them to realize, hey, okay, these guys are serious. They want to talk. They want to help us make this game better. That's what we have to do.
Probably what's going to have to be like fucking 100 of us have to show up to Star Trek Las Vegas next year and just surround them.
Don't tempt me, because I will hawk some stuff to get me a ticket on a bus to go to Las Vegas, even if I have to hobble my way through the freaking hallway.
2020, I'm going to have some free time over the summer, so yeah. If the game's around, then yeah, we'll make a trip. I'll take care of your airfare.
Okay, thank you, Odin. Appreciate that.
All right.
You're the one driving us over there once we land, bro.
It's on live stream. He said he's going to take care of our airfare.
Yeah. You're the driver for us.
This in the future.
You're driving for us, so once we land, you're our chauffeur, bitch.
Really, the drunkest one out of the group, driving for you. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Cool. All right.
Yeah, don't let the drunk drive. we'll all be taking separate tickets to heaven or hell, depending on our motivate.
Forget
We'll go
that.
with you, Produce.
I'm going to hell. It's air conditioned.
Wow.
Hell, we live in fucking Florida anyways, after all.
Right? Might as well be in hell.
You know, that is ironic. All of us live in Florida. Wow.
Yeah, that we do.
That would be it. Anyway, Florida STL.
Maybe that's
group
why we're
over
so angry? I don't know.
No, we're not angry.
All right. I want to put this out to all the people watching right now, and any future viewers that may watch this video. If you guys have any logical, reasonable ideas that could maybe help us push this initiative forward, please do not hesitate to comment in the sections below and let us know what you guys think of the current situation. And if you have any good input on how we can resolve this with the devs in a civil manner. We don't want arguments. We don't want a bunch of butt heads going, fuck you guys. No
terrorist acts.
No terrorist fucking takeovers.
Negotiations.
We want to effect change in this game positively for the community. Because if the community prospers and is happy, then the player base will spread the word and say, hey, this game is actually working pretty good. And that in turn will make Cryptic happy because their metrics will go up. They'll be making more money. And PWR will be like, all right, cool.
I came up with it, dude. We need the whale probe.
What? The whale probe?
Yeah, all the whales of the game, dude. The ones that just dump money in the game for the sake of dump. Anyways, but people that dump money in the game for the sake of dumping money, we need the whale probe, dude.
Yeah, if we can get a couple of the big investors.
We need Kirk to go back and get us a.
Oh yeah, Spencer, send them gifts because that worked before.
Okay, you know, they're putting a Starfleet Dental on us. Yes, that'll do it for sure. All right, but something that just came to my mind, and if you haven't seen this YouTube channel yet, Death of a Game, that series, I forgot it was Nerdist or Nerd Slayer, I think it was. Go watch Death of a Game, City of Heroes. That is a Cryptic Studios NC Soft product. That game was phenomenal for its day, and
Didn't they get sued a bunch?
Marvel had to sue at that time. There was no choice because of the way U.S. copyright laws are written. You have to automatically sue to protect your IP. Whether you win or lose, you must in order to protect your IP.
Even when you win, you lose.
Right. Well, I mean, they have ended up, the whole backstory behind that part there is what they ended up having Cryptic Studios try to work on one of their games as well. Marvel approached them on that. But that's a whole nother story altogether. But
you better pay attention, bro. You're in an HSC. You're going to die.
I know. Whatever, man. I'm not going to die.
You're all going to die.
You're going to be the first one to die. What are you talking about?
Well, I know. I've generated a lot of threat anyway. Yes, I get that. I get that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, where was I with? Oh, yes.
Let's see if Bowden can hack it with the big boys. Let's see.
Boy, I'm doing this thing. Big time. Torp boat. Here we go. Anyway, coming back to this whole thing. Death of a Game, blah, blah, blah. Oh, crap. There's a target. There's a big cube above my head. This is not going to be fun for me.
You're going to die.
He's going to keep trying to get to the point, and it's just going to keep getting, yeah.
Watch Death of a Game. This is something that Cryptic Studios have put out. Oh, snap. I'm going to die.
Well, who played that game? I didn't play that game.
I played it. I loved it, man. It was a great game.
Okay.
It was an awesome game. And it would have been... Oh, somebody blew up something right under me.
Somebody got one of those faux servers out there that still has it on?
I don't know, man, but somebody should have got the code. But the game was great. The engine was... the graphic engine was showing its age. But as far as the gameplay was a little bit old school for a time. But if they remade that game, but kept all the elements that was good with it, that game would be wildly popular. It just needed some more development. The thing is that...
Age of,
but it was a spectacular game. The problem was that it lacked financial backing and enough development dedicated to making the game successful. That's the bottom line. And we're going to see the same thing happen here with Stowe if the community starts giving up on it. I mean, that's just going to happen here if people keep getting frustrated that, oh, Well, it's lagging again. I'll go play something else. Or I'm only going to be around here for a little bit anyway, so I'll just hop in, do this thing, and then bug out. If that's what PWE and Cryptic Studios wants out of this game, that's fine. We can do that. They have every right to it.
I like how Keshmar Orange said it started Kickstarter Bros. Like, for what, bitching?
No,
at this
actually, point, it has crossed my mind a few times to start a Kickstarter to buy Cryptic back from PW.
All right, who's going to control
we're talking
all that?
60, 70 million to start the bidding. It had crossed my mind.
Yeah, but that's even if they would sell it. I mean,
PWI is a corporation just like any other. You offer them enough money for a piece of their company that probably isn't going to make a whole lot of money for them anyway.
Yep. Okay.
Why do you think PWI jumped on it when Atari sold it so cheap?
Yeah, but you gotta remember,
a lot of money to be
there
made.
was no Star Trek like films or shows going on at the time.
Yeah, I still think if you pushed enough money towards them and offered them enough money for Cryptic, they would.
If I didn't get that freaking death, I would have beat Spencer. Son of a gun.
Yeah, prove it. I want to see the parse. Post it right here.
That.
It's on the stream. Go watch it yourself.
No. Post it in the channel there, lazy ass.
Man, it's going to disrupt my flow because the only way this game would stream is if I have it full screen.
Yeah.
It's not windowed.
Oh, you suck.
He doesn't know shit on his desktop.
SOB, could you do me a favor and post it in the chat channel? Sorry. I don't know, 10K in the stream channel, whichever one is convenient for you. Dang it, would have beat him too.
Well, he could put in DPS After Dark or STO Tech Track.
He's in there?
Well, STO Tech Track is open channel to anyone.
Okay. Thank you.
Dude, he outdid you by 70K. That death wasn't going to give you 70K, bro.
Oh, that one death would have got you there.
No, not even close.
Yeah, it would have.
Thanks for trying, though.
It would have, buddy. Do you not know big targets? The big targets were gone by then. Torp boats love big targets. That's a lot of hull for all the torpedoes to smash right into. Big numbers.
Please, tell me about torp boats, Aaron.
Never mind. I'm getting off my soapbox.
If I had $1 for every time Odin said, if I hadn't died, I'd be rich.
But it's true. It's true.
Did that upload for anybody, Spencer? Because I think Aponte might have a new record.
If they didn't steal my CF.
Yeah, well, I'm with Spencer when he put that on the Reddit thread there. You know, they need to have a personal version of CF. Concentrate firepower for those who don't know.
Spencer took in 41% of the attacks. You took in 7%, and he still outlived you.
Well, he built a tank, you know, his Sigma tank. It's good. I don't build a tank. I build a heavy fire support ship.
I don't know. It didn't look like he was tanking. It looked like he was DPSing his ass off.
He's kind of tough there, friendo. Just saying.
He built a nice, tough ship. No lie. He's got cannons on there. He's got the really good toys for it.
We told you the secrets to survivability. You just got to implement it.
Teach me.
Not on this stream. Don't.
No, yeah, not on this stream. We'll tell you. We'll tell you later.
Okay then. Okay. Speaking of which, this is one of the other things I wanted to find out because the 2-piece for the adapted Mako is supposed to have some hull regen on it. Yes. 3.5% of maximum hull every 6 seconds. Is that out of combat or in combat, or is it just supposed to be there?
Didn't we decide that was a heal?
Yeah, that's a heal. That's not a hull regen. That's a heal.
Does it even work?
I don't think I haven't used a 2-piece adapted Mako forever.
Well, I use it on my torp boats, but I don't notice anything, to be quite honest. It might could. I haven't tested it. We could do some testing. What do you think?
Go for it.
Well, I would need you to.
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah, but I mean, we're
Oh, that's
something later.
right. You can't challenge me in PvP anymore.
Oh, that's right. They got rid of that function. We can't use that anymore. Oh, the things that we used to be able to do to make testing easier.
Yeah, why did they get rid of that?
That's a good question. Somebody should ask them.
It was part of the whole preparation they were doing for the new teaming mechanics and the new TF.
Which brings up to another comment here. Is it just me, or is there a feeling of some initiatives just being halfway done and then abandoned?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, I know, and I'm going to beat this dead horse, but Boricus did say that the Great Balance Pass was only halfway done.
And you trusted
it was incomplete.
Boricus? Why?
Well, he said it.
You know how you know he was lying? His lips were moving.
Wow. Wow. I think that's the closest to a con moment we've had.
I have no great love for Boricus after the flippant statement he made to me in Reddit chat, so yeah, well, let's just put that up.
Did he say your DPS sucked? I don't know. What did he do?
I'd rather not relay the information of that comment because it was between me and him, and I'll.
You took it to heart. I get it.
No, I didn't take it to heart. It's just the way he approached it so unprofessionally just really pissed me off.
Rude.
All right, and again, another related topic right here. We're segueing right into another related topic here. The professionalism or lack thereof from developer interaction to the community and vice versa. Okay.
Well,
SOB's doing a 1v1 challenge match. Okay, I guess he figured out how to do that. Or it's there. Yeah, he's there. It's a 1v1 match now.
How did he do it?
Yeah, I'd like to know how
he invited me and then he did something, and I don't know. So I'm just sitting here.
Maybe
Go ahead, fire away.
Video on that there, Spencer.
He's just hitting here and blowing me up.
Oh, he's blowing you, all right.
Something.
Yeah, it might be a video there for you, Spencer. Show people how to do challenge matches again, because you can't find.
I know he invited me into private, and then from there probably did like a 1v1 challenge match or something.
Yeah, but I'm looking. I'm in here with in a private with Astro right now, and I clicked the PvP one. There's nothing in here for 1v1. I mean, it's been a lost friggin' button somewhere that nobody knows about except for Spencer, obviously. Or maybe it's a command he's using.
Possibly.
Because I know he's infamous with his commands.
It is possibly a command. The menu may be hidden, but the command is still there somewhere.
Yeah. Because that was how we used to test a lot of things back in the day against each other. You know, testing different levels of powers and procs and stuff like that. We used to PvP.
Well, I mean, that's what that thing that we're testing and that we're not talking about there, Proteus, and stuff like that. We had to go to Quad to do it.
Yeah, that thing, well, that was a pain in the ass.
Private match, select number of players 2 for 1v1s. Okay. So you got to set up a private match and then select number of players.
Yeah, but the problem is, how do you set up a private match? There's no way to do it.
Invite person in private, right?
Oh God! Look at that. Let me see here. No shit.
Wait,
there we
how do you do it?
Hold on, I'm seeing it. You're still in game, right, Astro?
Yeah, I am now.
Foul door. I forgot to activate that dock.
Let's see if this pulls us in.
I didn't get anything, dude.
No, I'm in the private system, so when I queue it, you won't see it pop.
That's right. My bad.
Let's see if it pulls us in. I don't know if it'll let you select the map though. Look at this shit. It's pulling us in. I figured it out. I figured it out.
That's not a good thing, because I didn't see it pop up at all, dude. Oh, you can challenge anybody. Ooh, that's not good.
Well, you have to invite them to the task force first.
I didn't click anything.
You were already in the task force with me.
Ew, that's right.
But yeah, all right. With a little bit of ingenuity and some foresight, we figured.
Come on, come at me, bro. Don't leave.
Really?
Don't leave.
You want some of this shit?
Ladies and gentlemen, they're distracted right now. We'll be back after a few minutes.
Oh yeah,
and we're back.
Aside, this should be fun. If I beat you, you should be mad at yourself. Should not be happy with your Psy magic at all.
Wow.
Right.
Okay, so how come my invasives wasn't resetting? Interesting.
Oh, where'd you go, Sparky? Why you running, dog?
Eat it, dog. Eat it.
Okay.
You were upset there for a minute. I saw that shit.
I wasn't scared. My swarmers have my back, bro.
That's right. It's swarmer cheese, bro.
Okay, so the PvPers, Omega and Dragon, were the ones who figured this one out, and then they passed it off to a few people. So we'll thank the PvP community, who have been more than patient in dealing with a lot of the issues here in game.
Where'd you go?
That's all you get, bro.
Oh, really? Now
I hate PvP in this game.
You bounced?
Yeah, you damn right I bounced.
Because you knew. You knew what was coming.
Mostly because I have to pee. I'll be right back.
You knew what was coming,
Who does that?
He knew what was coming, though. He knew.
Mm-hmm.
I had to sit there and learn how to tab against all his BS and fucking tab and get on him so I could focus him with my taunts. I'm just saying. Just saying. It's crazy.
You need to learn how to do Cisco.
Derpy Cisco, maybe.
Wow.
Dude, listen to my voice. I can't do fucking Cisco.
You need to learn how to.
Ain't got that base, babe. Oh, boy. All right, so we done ranting? Are we still streaming? What are we doing?
Streaming, going through all this. Another thing here, you know, that I'd like to have is more content. Like actual endgame content. Other than wash, rinse, and repeat a couple STFs.
Well, I mean, that's the whole DPS chase, dude. I mean, if there was a balanced PvP, there could be that. I mean, we do have the casual player base. We have the RP groups, which I don't partake in.
Spencer, quit stealing my CFs. God,
we should start that as a drinking game.
That should be a drinking game. Wow, the lag. He brought that lag cheese in here. Oh, wow, he lagged this game out. Yeah, he lagged this thing out bad.
What, did he actually do the thing?
He used that console thing. And look, everybody, look at that. This is what we have in game. So the game clock seems to be running at 50% right now. And now it's come to a complete stop. Alright, yeah, there's some parts of the game, it looks like the client is running on its own clock. And then the server is running at 50% speed or maybe even slower now.
Because it's affecting multiple players.
Right.
So
what?
Is it
Oh, you see, I just activated Torp Spread and it just got sucked up into the ether. So who knows what is actually making it to the server? Right, look at that. Second torp spread just got eaten again.
That's funny. It's the first time I've actually seen it.
Oh yeah, we're seeing this full time. Now mind you,
I know that.
how did this make it? You see, now my high yield got eaten again as well too. How is this made it into the game at this pace? Seriously.
Q&A, dude. I want to talk to them. I want to hang out with them, dude. I'd like to make their gameplay, you know, their job experience better. Seriously, dude.
Fourth ability eaten right there. See,
I mean, I don't want to talk shit and stuff like that. Dude, I'd like to hang out with them. Because, I mean, if they're doing like a 1v1 type thing, I don't know how they Q&A test.
Fifth one eaten.
Alright, I'm back.
Sixth one eaten.
Welcome back. I think we should wrap this up because I'm bored.
Yeah, same here. I'm actually going to go play World of Warcraft.
Wow. Bad game.
WoW is right. Not bad game. There's
Bad
something
game,
to be
dude.
said for World of Warcraft. Even in its worst time period, you know what they did? They actually went back and fixed stuff quickly.
Wait, Odin, are you in that CCA where he's lagging the hell out of
Yes,
everything?
he is intentionally lagging. 7 torpedo abilities got sucked into the ether. He's lagging the hell out of this right now.
Spencer, you figured out how to end it? Can you make yourself die?
Ninth time the ability's been eaten. Alright, so the client is functioning in real time. The server is at least less than 50% now.
The chat server dies for like the first 20 seconds when he hits the beacon. We noticed that right off the bat.
Yeah, I even
This
see the
needs
foliage.
this is just ridiculous. Now, what are the odds that multiple people are going to have this beacon? Up like 11th ability.
Why didn't they model it after the beacon that we drop already from the traits? Not traits, reputation.
Their original plan was to give us a new way of removing threat. And originally the beacon had an ability called blind on it. What that was going to do was going to blind all the NPCs around you to everybody in the group. And that was going to lower everybody's threat unless you were specifically threat tanking. It would not lower your threat if you had high threat generation already.
Yeah, but
We thought it was...
I mean, couldn't they just do like a reset, like every 2 or 3 seconds of threat?
Well, it was only supposed to last for like 8 seconds of actual blind, and they thought that was causing the lag. So they changed it to a disable for 8 seconds. But as we're seeing here, that's not the case. It wasn't the blind that was causing the problem. Me and Spencer both come to the conclusion that it's got something to do with the number of players and allies in the same vicinity when you activate it.
I also think it's the number of abilities that are active per player that has some interaction with this.
We went in there with pugs, dude, and most of the pugs didn't have many buffs up at all. It was just me and Spencer had the buffs.
But Tholians have debuffs that they apply, do they not?
When that console hits, the Tholians didn't have a chance to put the debuffs on. If you paid attention to the Tholians in there themselves, they weren't even fired. You'd see
That
one
the
or two
client can
shots
see.
here and there.
The server is a different story altogether. The client doesn't see that.
We watched our buff bars, bro. I didn't see any debuffs hit me at all. Now, combat log wise, I originally thought it was the pets that were doing it, the Klingons. They called in the new Discovery guys. But when I looked at the original combat log that we had for the 14-minute lag fest, the pets disappeared halfway through the lag. So that right there, I was like, nope, it's not the pets causing it. It's not anything the pets are doing that's causing it, because it's infinite lag. And it's only when a player in the group dies or multiple people are pushed out of the range of that beacon is when the lag stops.
In this case, though, it didn't stop when I died. And when SOB died, it still continued.
He left the map to stop it. That's how it stopped. Because he was the original progenitor of the trigger.
In this video, assuming that SOB was the one who actually triggered it, I died, he died, we respawned, the lag still continued.
But did you have continuity?
That I cannot tell you.
Because when we had it happen earlier today, one guy on our team died, okay? He was outside the range already. Another guy who was close to us died, and the instant he died, both me and Spencer had our continuity triggered and got pushed back. And that's when the lag stopped. It just complete... That's why we're drawing the conclusion that it's based on the number of allies and the players within range of the beacon. Something the beacon is doing is causing an interaction that's basically doing a feedback. Basically you're stuck in a paradox. And Spencer just stated you died after he left.
So wait, so who was the other scimitar? Oh, it must have been a different scimitar then that died. Okay.
Yeah, I think there was multiple scimitars.
Well, he left, I died, it was still lagging.
But was it the same slideshow?
It was a slideshow still. I mean, it's in the video, you can see it for yourself.
I was watching the whole time. As soon as he left, the lag literally stopped.
No, it was still laggy. It was still there.
That's not what I saw.
It was still there.
But in any case, it's getting late.
Yeah. I think almost 2 hours of us whining, being DPS elitists, complaining about the world and holding everybody in the palm of our hands, ransom. I think that's enough.
You're the one who whined and defended them.
I defended the reasoning, not the execution. But expanding upon this to the rest of the gaming community, real quick, wrapping this up. Expanding upon this to the rest of the gaming community, gamers as a whole are just putting up with substandard releases.
Because we're passionate about the game, we don't want to see it die.
Right, but that's you. You're above the average gamer as far as passion and wanting quality in the product.
All right, let's put it to the community then. To anybody who watches this video, what is your reason for staying in the game? Are you passionate about the game and you love playing the game, that's why you put up with it? Or is there another reason for it? Comment in the section below and let us know, because we want to take a poll on this and see what the community thinks.
To be continued. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for showing up tonight. And thank you, audience, for coming in and commenting here. And for those who will be watching this later on, please post your opinions, post your thoughts on there. And yes, we do know that Astro does smell. We're trying to clean up the rest of the residue on him with ammonia, but rotting flesh only works so much.
Don't even start. This is your smell.
I will start.
Wow.
I will start.
See, what happened was Odin got a hold of some really, really hot wings and didn't tell us about it before.
And he ate them. Yes.
Yeah, but no. He didn't eat them. You stole them. And you ate them. That's where the smell's coming from, bro. You might want to check your upper lip.
One,
Yeah,
I wouldn't steal hot wings. Two, I'm making my damn self.
Wuss.
3, you don't know nothing about hot wings.
You
Boy,
born, all you guys.
I've eaten stuff that was so hot I had to sign a death waiver to eat.
And on that note, good night, folks. Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble. We're out. Peace.
Later, peoples.